Good morning. I trust everybody had a great weekend. We had a little bit of rain in some areas, but overall, I think we all had a decent weekend. The Perez's got lost and found themselves over at the Geta Fest. And of course, we had to take part of the festivities of Geta. Anyway, we had a great time there, and believe it or not, it's August. I believe this is our last week of camp. It's certainly our last week of resident camp and day camp for many of our locations. I think Lions, their camp is going to go for another couple of weeks as an elementary school finishes repairs. Anyway, this morning we have a presentation on finding the things you're passionate about. So I'm going to turn it over. So let's take a listen.
Good morning, everyone. This is Sean Brooks, the Senior Program Director over at the Gamble Nippert YMCA. And today I'm going to talk to you about discovering your true gifts. There's something we're all innately talented in, but don't recognize right away. And discovering what that could be is a journey in itself. To start, I'm going to give you a little background information on myself. Many of you may not know that I am a competitive weightlifter. This is something recent in my life that I have found that I'm incredibly passionate about. And it all just started last April. I was kind of in a rut at the time, not knowing where to take my athletic career. I've been a competitor since I was 9 years old and have just left college in 2014, didn't know where to take my competitive side to. At the time, I was currently doing CrossFit, but was not excelling in a fashion that I was used to. I decided to branch out and see what else the world had to offer. Some of the things that came to my mind were powerlifting and strongman. Both had weight classes which would help out, and both required a great deal of strength, which I had. Olympic weightlifting was not something that crossed my mind. I thought I was already too old to be any good at it. That's when Triumph Strength and Conditioning put on their first ever sanctioned weightlifting meet. I knew the owners well, and they invited me out because they knew I would enjoy it, and they wanted to get as many people signed up as they could. What did I know about weightlifting at the time? Absolutely nothing. I walked into this meet completely blind to the world of weightlifting and was like a deer in the headlights. Starting off, I didn't know how to convert pounds to kilos, something I never thought I'd have to do. Second off, I had no idea what the weight classes were because they were in kilos, so I accidentally cut too much weight. I was 8 pounds under what I could have weighed, which means I could have eaten a lot more over the week, and I kind of regret that because I love to eat. The kicker of all things is I didn't know you had to be a USAW member. I walked into the weigh-in, told them my opening lifts, which were wrong because they were in kilos, and when they asked for my USAW card, I said I didn't have one. The look on the coach's face was of pure frustration, because for this meet to count as a sanctioned meet, every competitor had to be USAW member. And if I didn't have a card, I couldn't compete. So I said, all right, I'll just skip this one. Skip forward about 20 minutes, and I was contemplating. I was like, yeah, I want to compete. So I got on their website and signed up for a membership card right there and then. $70 later, and I was ready to go. Turns out I was somewhat decent at this weightlifting thing because I accidentally qualified for the U.S. Open Championship, which is the second highest level of competition in the U.S. behind their nationals. I just came to this day looking to have fun, but ended up finding something I could concentrate my time and effort into. Since then, I found out I really have a passion for this. I've competed at the U.S. Open Championships. I competed at the Arnold Classic and took 7th. I competed at the national tournament just in May. I've connected with lifters all across the nation. But really, I found a passion and a direction where I can put myself. But it's not just for me. I've been able to help out so many others to help them enjoy lifting too. I've helped others improve their technique and hit weight they never thought they could. I've coached others through meets and talked them through frustrating times that I've experienced. And I can share my experiences and failures to help others as well. This is a gift I can really enjoy and help others with. Romans 12, 6-8 says, in his grace, God has given us different gifts for doing certain things well. So if God has given you the ability to prophecy, speak out as much faith as God has given you. If your gift is serving others, serve them well. If you are a teacher, teach well. If your gift is to encourage others, be encouraging. If it is giving, give generously. If God has given you leadership ability, take the responsibility seriously. If gift is showing kindness to others, do it gladly. Weightlifting is an outlet for me to use my many gifts, and so many others use their work at the Y. From preschool teachers, swim instructors, and coaches sharing their passions and knowledge to our front desk staff using their gifts to welcome and make our members feel at home when they walk through the door. You may not know exactly what your gift is yet, but once you do, I hope you put your whole heart into it and share it with the world. That's all for me today, guys. I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks.
What a great reminder of the need that each of us have to find something that we can be passionate about and ultimately excel in. It's part of the reason I think every human being needs to achieve, if you remember our achievement, relationship, and belonging focus. This morning I'd like to talk to us about when we are not finding those things and introduce you to a word maybe that you're not super familiar with. Maybe it's a word that you know what it means, but you don't necessarily use it all the time. And that's the word discombobulation or discombobulating. The word means to be out of balance, to not be where you are supposed to be. And so you're confused. Somebody who is discombobulated is somebody who is confused about their situation. Now, we understand what that's like because we love to watch the discombobulation of people. You may not call it that. You may call them YouTube videos. But we love watching those videos where something is supposed to happen and then it does not, and people are discombobulated, and we're recording it and we laugh about it. You know what I'm talking about. The wedding group that is taking a photograph on a dock somewhere, and the dock gives way and the entire wedding party ends up in the water and they're discombobulated. Or the individual who's, getting a cup of coffee and a co-worker is hiding in some trash can or just around the corner and jumps out just in the nick of time, and you watch him spill his coffee and his co-workers laughing at him or her, and you watch the discombobulation. Or some kid who gets woken up early in the morning to get ready for school, and only to find out that it's Saturday morning and dad is playing a practical joke, and you watch the discombobulation of that kid on the way to school when he makes that realization. And so we laugh about those things because we know what that's like. We've experienced moments where we were discombobulated, when things didn't go our way, when we expected the situation to go right and it goes completely left. But we also know what it feels like. We know that in those moments we are confused. Now I want you to think about something. What if discombobulation was a constant state of human beings in our culture? What if what we are told to pursue in life is exactly what we are not supposed to be doing, and so that we're in this constant state of confusion? Buy this car and you'll be happy. Buy this house and move into this community and you'll be happier than you've ever been before. Marry this person or that person and you'll be in bliss, only to discover a discombobulation that things didn't quite go the way you thought they were going to go. So what does this have to do with the YMCA? Well, I think everything. It's the fundamental purpose for our existence, to help individuals find footing and regain clarity from their discombobulation. So when the world says you don't matter anymore, the YMCA says you do matter. And we turn the whole message completely upside down. It's why we focus on making sure individuals achieve goals when the world says you can't, make friends when the world says you're not acceptable, and get a sense of connection and belonging to an organization that says you are welcome here. Now, Jesus practiced this whole notion when he often said to individuals whose lives were completely upside down that they belonged. To the fisherman who had heard all his life that he was not smart enough or good enough to be part of something significant, he says, you can be on the team. To the sick person who has been rejected because of an illness, not lifelong illness, he says to him and her, you too can be part of the team. To the tax collector who is reviled in his society, and the Samaritan, and the women, and the children, and on, group after group, Jesus says, let me change your discombobulation to a state of acceptance and belonging. 2,000 years later in London, a young man says, I want to be part of that too. And he founds the Young Men's Christian Association, the YMCA. If you want to learn more about this, you can go on Netflix. There's a video called Happy, which studies what makes us happy, what keeps us from being discombobulated. And there's some surprising information in there. For example, we know that you will be remarkably happier if you move from earning $5,000 a year to earning $50,000 a year, because you can solve real problems with $50,000. But the happiness levels don't go all that high when you move from 50,000 to 50 million. And I think the reason this happens is we can't solve some of life's most profound problems, things like achievement, relationships, and belonging, with money. Those things are purchased at the level of transformation, not at the level of transaction. And so that's why we focus so much of our attention, so much of our work on making sure young people are reaching goals and making friends and connecting to our organizations, and same with seniors and stay-at-home moms and 30-year-olds and on and on and on. So, along with finding your passion in life, to find something you can be very good at and devote to, what else can we do to find purpose and meaning and balance in our own lives? So I think part of it is to understand that we have to make a choice whether we're going to be transactional in the way we do our lives or transformational. In other words, let's adopt a transformational mindset. Because becoming discombobulated when you're focused on things that matter is very, very unlikely, even if the circumstances change. If you are, for example, in a wonderful relationship with a loved one, and you are on vacation to spend some focused time with that individual, even if the planes are late, even if it rains all week, even if everything goes south, you're not going to be discombobulated because you're focused on transformation. But you get greatly discombobulated if your focus is on the transactional, if you're only there to find joy in the things you're going to do, the transactions, rather than joy in the things that really don't require great weather or on-time flights. So let's think about how we practice transformational thinking in our own lives and then teach others to do the same. Move the transactional conversations into transformational conversations by asking people how their day has been, by getting down to the level of human connection, not simply trying to get some things done. It's what we do at the YMCA. It's what we do in our swim lessons, in our youth work, in our Zumba classes, and our front desk, and it's what we should do with each other. Let me pray for us. God, thank you so much for the opportunity that you give us to be part of something greater than ourselves. And in doing so, protecting ourselves from discombobulation, protecting ourselves from getting so confused and so caught up in what my circumstances are, and forgetting that the things that matter most, I cannot be moved from. Thank you for those that serve with us here in Southern Ohio, Northern Kentucky, around the country, and around the world through the organization we call the YMCA. Amen. Thanks, everybody.